Top of the morning, fight fans, or should I say good afternoon. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning George Foreman. George Foreman had this to say to Anthony Joshua. He says, Anthony Joshua, I can help your team step and a half in tight cycle. I never let your back touch the ropes. Height is good. George Foreman versus Ted Gullick, April 10th, 1972. Of course, you have Joe Frazier as another example on how you stay tall and beat shorter, aggressive men like Andy Ruiz, like Joe Frazier, like Gullick. Okay, so George Foreman has that advice to give to Anthony Joshua. In fact, we know that George has offered his services to Anthony Joshua in getting him prepared. One thing is apparent that I see about Anthony Joshua. He is like on everyone's wish list. He's on every trainer's wish list, or a lot of trainers' wish list, when it comes to wanting to get a good crack at him. You know, Freddie Roach, then Lennox Lewis, now George Foreman. You know, you have a lot of these guys, you know, Ishmael Salas, you know, mentioned that they were approached by Team Joshua. And, you know, I think it's tempting to Anthony Joshua. And the reason why I think it's tempting is because Anthony Joshua has emailed and reached out to Freddie Roach before. And this was before he was beaten, okay? So I think it would be more of a imperative decision right now for him to bring someone else into his camp. You know, I know the last video I did about Joshua, you know, Ishmael Solis did reach out to him or whatnot. Now George Foreman is showing him how you stay tall. Look, I think, and this is what I feel, me counterpunching George Foreman, I think if anyone could help him, it would be someone taller. Vladimir Klitschko's a good one. I know one of the Counterpunch squad, followers of this channel mentioned that. Vladimir, you know, if anybody, I think would be Vladimir or Lennox Lewis. George Foreman is a good attribute, but George Foreman doesn't necessarily fight like Anthony Joshua, but he does know how to fight tall. Okay, so anyone that is tall themselves, that know how to fight tall, that's accustomed to fighting shorter guys, would be a great asset for Anthony Joshua. Nobody's short trying to, it's hard to empathize with a fighter if you're shorter than that fighter. If you haven't been in that fighter's footsteps, if you don't know what that fighter dealing with a shorter fighter, how are you going to tell or teach anyone how to do that? You know what I mean? That's my thing. I think Joshua should have a trainer eye level with him, like Lennox Lewis, Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko would actually be one of the best. It would be ideal on a Rocky style storytell, because, you know, of course, Vladimir Klitschko retired after their hellacious battle together. I think they should have fought a second time. That would have been good. Vladimir decided to retire, which is okay. He didn't want to do the Apollo Creed shit, right? But I think ideally, if I was going to pick anyone being Anthony Joshua, it would be someone that can identify with me and empathize with me, how to be a tall fighter and fight shorter fighters. You know, that's bottom line. Anyway, this is interesting for George Foreman. I am going to leave the link below. Get this video out to you because I'm watching one hell of an undercard with the Oscar Rivas and Dillian White. You have 6-7 fights on this thing. You can't beat that. You know, this reminds me of the fights back in the 90s. But anyway, I got to get through with that. I'm gonna attempt to go live because my location right now won't allow it might not allow my device to go live, but that is my objective. If I don't go live doing live commentary, I will definitely go live after the main events. Okay, but anyway, stay tuned for that. Tell me what you think about George Foreman's statements and comments. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.